I was diagnosed with cancer, ovarian cancer, in the summer of 2006, I think. And we've been dealing with it ever since. We did major surgery once and cleaned out everything. There's nothing left inside.
This type of treatment is fantastic, and I find that somehow directly or indirectly this reflected on Kathy as well.
What you guys do is allow us to sort of have a life, and allow my mom to have a life, and which is incredible.
The best doctors that you have around here are so busy that they don't even have the time to give you, to listen to you. And not because they don't want to, but because they are so much in demand, you know, and so much under pressure themselves.
The cancer is there. It doesn't bother me nearly as much as the colostomy. Well, the first thing, I didn't know that they were going to do that, and that bothered me a lot. I found out later.
Basically, from what I understand, she woke up with a hole in her side and not knowing what that was about. And then it was because it's a minor operation relatively, she was discharged relatively quickly with horrible equipment in terms of the pouches and the seal, and they weren't working, and nobody had really given them coaching. And aside from the technical aspects of what you do with this thing, for a normal person, having a hole in the side that you weren't expecting when you went to sleep, and then being told that now you just deal with it, is just, it's stunning.
You know, I like to know what's going on with my life. I don't like surprises, particularly in health matters. But as I said, I've been very fortunate because everybody in the family has just kind of kicked in. And even people that aren't in the family.
Well, Balsam has been, I mean, it's been a godsend. I mean, that's just one way. That's the most obvious way that you guys help us synthesize this information and understand what we should be doing. But there's also the reassurance that we're doing the right thing, or that this is even normal, you know, that this is what happens when you're dealing with a colostomy. This is not unusual that this is happening. The knowledge that there is a group of people out there that you can just call and who care really deeply and who are sympathetic and understanding and really understand my mom's situation and our situation in a depth that nobody else does besides us, and who can relate to us.
كان عندنا 3-4 أطباء يعالجوها بنفس الوقت، وكان صعب كتير علي أنا كزوجة إنه أفهم شو العلاقة بين هالأمراض، أو كيف ممكن الواحد يعالج واحد من هالأمراض والمرض الثاني ما يتأثر.
In fact, what you guys do for us as a family and as a psychologist, this is incredibly important, is you reduce our uncertainty. I mean, my dad talked about fears. It's uncertainty. It's not knowing what's coming next or not knowing what the right thing is to do.
الخبرة والتجربة اللي نحن كعائلة مرينا فيها معكم بالفعل خلتنا نحس إنه أنتم بلسم بمعنى الروحي والنفسي، وبالإضافة له كمان بالمعنى الطبي.
Janan comes and takes blood from me, which means that I don't have to go down to the clinic, and that's very helpful. Well, one of the things that has been great, and that hasn't happened to me since I was a teenager, was having doctors come home. I called you for something. I don't remember exactly what it was, and you came right over and checked me out and made me feel comfortable.
And I remember, you know, we're nagging you to exercise, and we're nagging you to eat better and drink your Ensure and do all these different things. And then Hiba passes by and she says, "Are you drinking?" And you just grab the glass and drink it. It's just another source of motivation. And or Janan calls and checks in on you, and you know, you get a bit more of a bounce in your step. It's just somebody coming from outside who cares, who's showing more, you know, the care and the affection and it just also made you work harder, I think. Our morale goes up when you guys come around, and knowing that having you guys available to us makes us feel so comfortable, and yeah, it's incredible. One of the amazing things that Balsam does for us is takes care of the people taking care of the person who's ill, and that has been also an amazing source of relief and support.
And I've been very lucky to have a family that cares so much.
الدور اللي لعبتوه هو يعني الاستغناء عن المفاجآت. يعني صرتوا تحضرونا للأشياء الممكن تصير بمعرفتكم أول شيء بنوع المرض اللي كانت هي موجودة عندها، بالمعالجة اللي هي عم تتناوله، بالأطباء اللي عم يعالجوها. أنتم صرتوا تقوموا بوظيفة الربط بين الأطباء وتعطونا رأيكم أنتم الشخصي اللي هو مش دائما رأي يعني بالمعنى التقني، بس بالمعنى العلاجي. يعني علاج يشمل القضايا الطبية وأيضا القضايا النفسية اللي اثنيناتنا بحاجة له. يمكن أنا بحاجة له أكثر من كاثي، باعتبار أنا ما عندي المرض الموجود عند كاثي ومسؤول عن اني لبي الاحتياجات اللي هي بتحس فيها. حسيت كثير بدعم، وحسيت كثير براحة بال بوجودكم معنا كفريق مكرس نفسه للخدمة العامة ولخدمة المرضى. بهالناحية دي انتم عم تعالجوا المريض، هذا مثل ما قلت من الأول، يعني مش المرض فقط، وهذا شيء مهم كثير.
It's there. I can't change it, but I can do something, medically, and I do what I can do. And sitting around feeling sorry for myself is not something that I do. I never thought I'd get back into housekeeping again. The Women's Club, that's at least once a month, and they have other activities, taking trips around Lebanon. It's really very interesting. I've started that a couple of years ago, places that I've never been in Lebanon, and it's very interesting. AUB initiative, where they have a series of different kinds of classes. We just finished a mini course on opera.
It seems like doctors aren't able to talk to the patients or don't want to talk to the patients about their illness, about their prospects. They'll talk very directly about what this treatment will do to the cancer or the clotting or whatever. But they're not able to sort of speak in layman's terms. They're not able to talk to them in their own language. So it becomes really difficult to decipher what's actually being said and what that means for us and for our lives. And it also, because they're so busy and because they're speaking sort of this foreign lingo to us, it becomes really difficult to ask questions because we don't know what questions to ask. And what Balsam does is just takes away all that. You speak our language, you tell us what questions to ask our doctors. You help us decipher the answers, and you help us understand the bigger picture, which is fantastic. And if anything could be done about medical education in this country, that would be one of the key issues, is letting the patient become part of the process.